Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild, and welcome back to Once in a Wild Wednesday. And if you have never seen our show before, we do broadcast live every single Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, of course. We are located right here in San Antonio, Texas, so that's our time zone. And we broadcast for free every single Wednesday night. And we would love, love, love if you are not subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, which is one place that you can view our live streams. Please subscribe to us. It helps us a great deal and helps our channel out, as well as liking the videos that you see and like. And if you don't like them, you can dislike them too. It actually gives us about the same help, believe it or not. But please go ahead and like those if you like them, and share them if you want to share them with your animal loving family and friends. That helps us out as well. And these live streams are free each and every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. But if you would like to donate to our mobile zoo, which is what Once in a Wild is, you can help us take care of our animals by donating to options of your choice below. All the links are down in the description box below on YouTube and Facebook. And you've got a couple examples down below: Venmo, Cash App. We also have a PayPal as well. All those links are listed for you for your convenience, as well as visiting onceinawild.com and donating to our Amazon wish list. That's another great way that you can donate to our animals and help us keep going and keep them fed and keep them taken care of. We do have over 70 animal ambassadors here at Once in a Wild. We are located in San Antonio, Texas, and we can bring the zoo to you, to your classroom, birthday party, or any event in person if you happen to be in the San Antonio area. But if you are not, or you are still social distancing, we understand, or you have maybe just preferences to go virtual, things like that, we can do virtual programs too. And you can find more information about all of our services at onceinawild.com. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start our live stream. Alrighty, thank you guys for joining us on another Once in a Wild Wednesday. It's really good to see Ricardo chiming in. Now, for those of you that are new, please keep in mind this is a very interactive live stream. We love when you ask questions or leave comments, and I can address your comments and questions. We always keep it family friendly, of course, but we can also highlight your comments and questions down below if you happen to use YouTube or Facebook. I do recommend not watching in a group. I know there's like group availability to watch in like a I forget what it's called, but you can like do your own private group to watch live streams sometimes. Don't do that because I can't see your comments and questions. What is that called? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. This is actually live. Speaking of live, we were on the news this afternoon here in San Antonio, so I'm sure we're going to be linking that soon. There's a couple of posts in our Instagram. If you haven't followed us on social media yet, we do have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, we have a Facebook, of course, and we have a YouTube and Twitter too. If you need the links for all of that, they're usually listed down below in the description box of this video, but also at onceinawild.com. Another great way to help us out is by following us on social media and kind of liking the videos on there and the pictures on there and just leaving a comment or anything at all, saying hi, and also to book your own animal encounter, like I said already. And all the information is for you at onceinawild.com, and my contact number is down below if you want to go ahead and book with us. You can text or call that number. Alrighty, guys. So how has your week been? I know I've had a super crazy week, and I'm not complaining because it's warming up outside, and therefore a lot of events are happening again. We did have a few events this week, some virtual, and I had some virtual classes all the way to California this week. That was pretty cool. And then I had some in-person things as well, and I'm continuing throughout the rest of the week. In fact, Sunday coming up is my first day off in a long, long time, so I'm really looking forward to some good R&R, but I'm not complaining whatsoever. Once in a While is staying very, very busy. Thank goodness. We are happy to be coming out little by little from the pandemic situation, right? So we're very, very happy about all of that. And we're happy to see you guys chiming in, whoever's out there. And I hope you're excited because today we have just one type of animal that we're going to be meeting. Typically on the show, I do bring 3 animal ambassadors for 3 different kind of species talks, if you will. We talk about all sorts of animals here at Once in a Wild, and we have over 70 animal ambassador individuals, and not 70 species, but we have several that are like the same species as well. And those include reptiles, amphibians, arachnids, and other invertebrates like bugs and scorpions. And we also have mammals and birds too. So a little bit something for everybody, right? Creepy crawlies as well as cute and cuddlies or furry and featheries, right? So just depending on what you're looking for, we can customize your event or your encounter. Yes, thank you for saying it was awesome that we were on the news. It's always a pleasure to be on live television. I'm a little bit used to being on the live streams, but it's a little bit different when you're on somebody else's program and you're the guest. But it was a lot of fun. We actually brought Iggy the guinea pig, Joanna the iguana, Loki the ferret, as well as Blondie the Arizona blonde tarantula, and Slytherin the California king snake. So a good variety on the show. And I'm looking forward to doing some shows with them, hopefully in the future again. Well, I don't know if anybody else has anything to say until we get the animals out. Sometimes it takes a minute for anybody to chime in, or I mean, it's not as interesting without the animals, right? It's just me talking. But I do want to let you guys know that these are brand new animal ambassadors. There's actually 2 individuals coming out. Hopefully, if all goes well, go ahead and have patience with these animals because they're very new to the world, and they're also very new to me, as well as being here in the studio and all of the things in life. So this is a naturally shy species. It is a Texas native species and a native species to the United States in general. And it is the only species of marsupial that we have right here in the United States, and specifically Texas. Since I'm a Texas native, I like to say native to Texas. It's really fun to say that. It's one of my favorite animals to work with. I have worked with many of them in the past, but I have never raised little ones before. So it's really cool. And I guess we'll go ahead and bring them out. So I'm going to attempt to hold them gently. They do very well with being held. I just want to make sure that they're comfortable. So bear in mind that anything could happen. If the worst case scenario, I will, if they just aren't having it, the plan is just to have them on today. I think they're going to do fine. But worst case scenario, if they're just not having it at all, or they're done, we're going to either end, depending on what time it is, or we will go and select another animal. Because luckily, the studio is the same household as our home, which is where our animals live. So hello, Gemstar or Viviana. It's nice to see you. It's been a minute since we've seen you. Oh, I see. And Viviana, of course, is right. Opossum is going to be the animal coming out next. Oh my goodness. And you're so excited. I'm excited as well. Wendy, my friend over in Miami, Florida, she says, wow, a great mix for the news. Yes, we wanted to vary it up to show that we have something, a little bit of something for everybody. We can do animal therapy or petting experiences, like a miniature petting zoo kind of deal. We're a lot different than other petting zoos, but it's still kind of like a more interactive type experience. Or we can bring animals that are more hands-off. We wanted to show a little bit of variety with that. Animals in charge, yes. So sometimes, I mean, I never want to force the animals to really do anything. We can always keep it positive. If I bring the animals out, the new animals, they're opossums, you guessed right. So if I bring these little opossums out, and they're feeling bad about the situation, I don't want to make it worse by forcing them, right? So we'll just see how they do. And I appreciate you guys participating in this training session of sorts, and let's learn all about them together, right? And please forgive me as well, because it has been a little while since I did a public opossum talk. I am very familiar with them, but if I get a couple facts wrong here and there, I'll correct myself in the comments. But we'll do our best, right? And feel free to give me all the things that you know about opossums. It's just been a little bit since I've talked about them in front of people, so I'm a little nervous. So can you tell? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to bring out one first. It's actually the smaller of the 2. So here she comes. We have named her. Here she comes. Oh, she's so cute. Are you ready? Oh my goodness. So this is Alice. And Alice is a little tiny baby Virginia opossum. This is a Texas native species, like I said before, and it's the only marsupial species seen in the United States. There are many, many different species of marsupial. Most of them live in Australasia or Australia, right? And there are some in Central and South America. But as far as the United States, there's only one species, and it's the Virginia opossum. I think she's acting hungry, so I'm actually going to offer her a little bit of food. Her food is really messy, so hopefully it doesn't spill everywhere. Would you like some food? So here's a whole bunch of things for her to eat. Mostly it's going to be dog formula, puppy formula, or puppy milk replacer. And then there's also some delicious canned dog food, some egg, which is raw, as well as, make sure you can see her, as well as she's eating cereal, so cute, as well as, what else do I have in there? A little bit of banana, I believe, and a little bit of strawberry baby food. That's human strawberry baby food. But at this age, she does need still to have a little bit of formula, so I'm just mixing it with the food, and she's been doing very well just eating it like this. They don't really have to nurse at this age anymore, so let's start all over. With opossums, they are marsupials. And marsupials are born extremely underdeveloped. Now, for them, that's very normal. They're born about the size of a gummy bear or like a jelly bean size. They're completely helpless. Mom will help them get to her pouch because marsupials have a pouch for the most part. I think there's a couple of exceptions of marsupials that don't have a pouch, but that's what they're known for, is storing their babies away in the pouch. They have an extremely short pregnancy for this species and most marsupial species. Where are you going? Maybe she just wants to be held for a little bit. Was that enough of a snack? She's looking right at my face. So something I have kind of learned about babies is they do kind of like to explore your face and smell you and things because they see you, if you're raising them, they see you as their mother. And at this age, she would be clinging to mom, which is why she's really good at hanging on to my hand. But she's awfully cute just the way she is. Hi, sweet Alice. Everybody loves you, I'm sure. She looks awfully cute. So these guys are born no bigger than a little gummy bear. They're hairless. They can't see. They can't hear. They can smell and they can taste. That's about it, and feel, right? So they can't hear or see. Super cute. Don't nibble on my fingers. That's not food. Oh my gosh, look how cute she is, you guys. I'm so in love. Look at her cute eyes. So when they, sorry, sorry, girly. So the movements and everything are very new to them. So they're quite helpless and vulnerable at this age still. So having those instincts to hide away and get away from movement and danger, they're also nocturnal, kind of like our hedgehogs. So a lot of times they feel more comfortable in the night, but she's just getting used to the lights. I think she's doing really well, actually. She looks more curious than anything. But these guys are only, when they're moms, they're only pregnant for around 12 to 14 days. Maybe. I think it's a little less than that, actually. I could be wrong. It could be 10 to 12 days. It's one of those things. It's less than 2 weeks. I know that. And then the birth is very, I mean, I would assume easy because the babies are tiny, but I mean, I'm sure they still have all the contractions and everything that you need to have a birth. They have up to 20 babies, but they only have 13 areas to nurse. So typically only 13 survive or less. So around a dozen is a good average number of how many babies they usually have successfully. But they'll be born very early, right? Very underdeveloped, like a little miniature fetus, right? Look at her go. She's climbing on my arm. They're great climbers at this age. She has wanted to kind of climb all over me, which is great. I want her to be very comfortable with me. And then they're going to climb in mom's pouch where they'll stay there for about 2 months. And then around 2.5 months, they'll start to venture out, but they don't leave mom quite yet at 2.5 months. They will start clinging to mom's back. You can see how clingy she is to my hand, but she also has hands too. She not only has hands on her front limbs, where most hands are, right? She also has hands on her feet, so little feet hands. They even have thumb-like appendages too. They're not as good as using their hands like humans, but they can definitely climb onto things. That's what they're designed for at this age. And they have thumb-like appendages, or digits, I should say, not really appendages, thumb-like digits on their rear feet as well. So she can grab on fully with her rear feet and front feet. And they even have a prehensile tail, which can help them balance as well as use as kind of like a fifth limb too. Isn't that cool? See her prehensile tail? Now, it is a myth that they hang from the tail. They can't really do that, but they can, of course, use it just like this to climb on and get more balance. You got it? You got it. I believe in you. You're doing great. And then after around 3 to 4 months, usually 3 months, but maybe a little later, depending on the individuals and how clingy they are to mom, how much of a mama's girl or boy they are, right? They will start to fall off of mom's back little by little. And hopefully they're a little older because then they can survive on their own after that. So they are away from mom around 4 months old or less sometimes. Isn't that crazy? So they can be on their own very quickly. They're not nearly full grown when they're on their own. They're like little teen possums. Opossum, excuse me. By the way, the word opossum is how you pronounce this species. That's a little yawn. They are an opossum. Opossums are from the Americas. So North America, of course, and South America, those are opossums. And then possums are actually the old world version. Let's see if she wants some more food. She's acting very curious about the smell. Would you like some more? Oh, yes. I think that's a yes. She's like, I forgot I had a big plate of food. Now, their vision isn't the best. They have great big black eyes. And they can see. You can see how she's responding to movement a lot when I move. But their vision isn't the best. So a lot of times, if I show her the food, she's like, what is that? And then all of a sudden she'll smell the food, which is their best sense, is their sense of smell. And then she realizes what it is, and she's like happy to eat it after that. And she's just going to crawl in the bowl. Well, we'll try feeding her later, I think. I don't want to make too much of a mess. And I'll certainly feed her all the treats when she gets put away here in a little bit, so she can get a nice positive reward after that, right? That's the best way to work with wild animals, and really any animal, is positive reinforcement. I think she's awfully cute. So that's how early they are away from their mom, and then they proceed to be on their own. Hello. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? A lot of people don't really care for opossums. I don't know why. I think they're awesome. Their name literally rhymes with awesome. Awesome opossum. Did I mention possums are old world, like Australia, for example? Opossums are new world. I don't know if I finished my sentence because I was so very distracted by our adorable opossum here. But a lot of people aren't really fond of opossum because they think they might be dirty, dangerous, maybe like not helpful, or related to rodents. Now, rodents, of course, have their own place in nature too. Rodents are very important too. When kept in check, rodents are a healthy part of the ecosystem too, like rats and mice. Now, we do need, of course, predators to keep those animals in check, or else we get too many of them, and then diseases and parasites can be a bad thing that happens. But with opossums, they're not rodents at all. So they are totally out of the category of being a rodent. They don't tend to carry rabies. It is actually a myth that they can't carry rabies, but it's so very rare that it pretty much is not true. They don't have as many receptors in their body, nor do they have a hot body temperature. They have a pretty cold body temperature. So typically diseases don't harbor well in their body. Also, my least favorite thing about opossums, they don't live very long. So opossums in the wild live anywhere from 1 to maybe 2.5 years at the most. They grow very fast, like I think I already talked about, right? When they get away from mom really early in life, they grow fast and furious, and they tend to live a very short life expectancy. So in their short lifespan, they don't really have much of a opportunity to also carry diseases. So they're not really a rabies vector to worry about, not nearly as much as feral cats. That's a big one that can give you rabies, is outdoor cats and dogs even, as well as, of course, raccoons, bats. What else? Skunks. All those guys can carry rabies a lot more often, although you really shouldn't be afraid of any of those animals. You just leave them alone and they'll leave you alone. It's always a good idea never to handle wildlife if you're not a professional, right? That's something that we talk about almost every single time. You gotta show your good side, sweetheart. Everybody wants to see your pretty face, although your tail is awfully cute too. And your feet. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They like to kind of stare at your nose and smell you because they're smell-based. So I'm letting her smell my face. But we recommend, please don't pick up an opossum in the wild and let them smell your face. They are not going to be happy to see you. This takes a lot of work to habituate them to humans. And where we got these guys was from a special rehabber that actually selected the best opossums that she was able to rescue for our programs. So out of all the opossums that she's come across, well, she comes across quite a few this time of year because it's now start of the breeding season. Opossums can have babies up to 3 times a year, but this is all when it starts, is when like spring happens, right? So yes, it's true. You were born just this spring. Yeah, you're only about 2.5, 3 months old. So cute. But they selected these guys. We have 2 of them. This is just one of them. This is the smaller one than the female, Alice. They selected kind of the best personalities of the bunch as well. The other ones get to be rehabilitated and usually released as long as they're healthy enough. And the ones that are a little bit too friendly and imprinted on humans a little bit too much, they get to live in places like Once in a Wild. So we're really happy to give them a home, right? Let's see what you guys have to say while she's just looking around. She's being very, very good. Hello, hello, everyone. Yes, opossums, raccoons, and skunks, a healthy part of the ecosystem. Opossums are great for us. That's something that Viviana's saying down below. So opossums are not pests like mice and rats. They cannot, like I said, usually give you rabies. It's super rare they can contract it. So it's really not a thing to worry about at all. Also, they really don't have the inclination to be aggressive. They're very passive animals. If you see an opossum in your own backyard, they will usually freeze and try to open their mouth and look scary and maybe hiss at you, but they're never going to like run at you and attack you. She thinks my finger is food, so let's give her real food instead of finger food. Would you like some more? You keep eating and then changing your mind, so why don't you have some? This is an awfully large bowl for her, but it's really not a very big bowl at all. This is what they've been used to eating out of, so I figured I would just keep it the same. Well, I'll let her, let's just see what happens, you guys. Want to get down? You're acting hungry, but you're not understanding where the food is. She's still learning. She's still a very young opossum, right? I bet you guys have never seen one so small. You can see how tiny she is. So very cute, like a little mouse. But they're not, right? They're not rodents. They're in the marsupial family, so they're more closely related to koalas than rodents. So what was I saying? I got distracted. But these guys are really good for the environment. So if you see one, they're not out to hurt you. They're actually trying to help by feeding themselves. And how they help is by being scavengers most of the time. So this is a very opportunistic scavenger, which means they can eat almost anything they want. Right now, she doesn't want to eat as much, but she's looking for food. She smells it, which is kind of cute. She's like, I don't know what to do. But they will eat, I mean, eggs. They'll eat bugs. They'll eat dead animals that nobody else wants to touch or eat besides vultures and things. They'll eat all sorts of plants that a lot of animals can't eat, and rotten things that a lot of animals can't eat. She really is acting like she wants to eat. But I'm going to set her down actually and show you the other one. And isn't she great? And then opossums will eat, like I said, carrion or dead animals, so that helps to eliminate diseases. And they'll eat a ton of bugs. So they'll eat roaches, flies, mosquitoes if they're on their body, and they'll even eat ticks off of their own body too. Since they're kind of low to the ground and they lumber along, especially as an adult opossum, young opossums climb very well and cling to mom's fur very well and can climb a little bit here and there up fences and small trees and things and bushes, of course. But the older the opossum, the bigger they get, just like any animal, and they will contract a lot of, they'll gather a lot of ticks on their body, but guess what? They'll just eat the ticks right off of their body. And since they don't typically get a lot of diseases like other animals do, they are, they're okay to have some ticks, and they just eat them right off of themselves. It's a free meal, and they are known to eat so very many ticks to help us out. Let's see what you guys are having to say in between opossums, right? We met the first opossum, Alice. We're about to meet another opossum. Let's see what you guys have to say. You say, hi, Alice. That's so nice. Do you like her name? Oh, hello. This is Frank. And he says, hi, my daughter was in a class you did on Monday. She loved it. That's so great. I'm so happy that she enjoyed the class. Are you guys in California? I think that's the group that you are referring to. If not, I apologize. And it's another group, but I'm so very happy you enjoyed the class. She's too adorable. I agree. Yes, this is a great point. Viviana says her face's coloring sort of reminds me of sugar gliders. Yes, they are very closely related to sugar gliders. Sugar gliders are a marsupial as well. You've probably seen them before, and they do have very similar markings as babies, especially the opossum babies, to a sugar glider. In fact, possums over in the old world look really, really similar to sugar gliders, and those guys are really neat marsupial as well, and they're tiny marsupials. Sugar gliders look like a flying squirrel, but they're not a squirrel, which is confusing again because squirrels are rodents and sugar gliders are not rodents, they're marsupials. So marsupials have underdeveloped young, and they have a pouch for their babies to finish developing in. So they have kind of like 2 pregnancies. And most marsupials can have multiple pregnancies throughout the year. So opossums are prolific breeders. They are very successful animals, unchanged for millions of years. They're actually a prehistoric mammal, one of the most primitive of all of our native Texas mammals and also native United States mammals. So they are very, very neat. And another feature of marsupials is what? Lower body temperature, being extra adorable. I can't think of a marsupial that I don't love. Opossums are one of my favorites to teach about because they're so very misunderstood, which I find hilarious because they're literally in our own backyards if you live here in the United States. And people are so very well, not everyone. You guys know better, right? But a lot of people are so quick to judge those animals they don't understand because they think they're ugly or they think that they're gross. So one thing that opossums also do is they'll play dead if they feel really, really upset. So a lot of times you see them and they'll freeze and kind of look really like they look a little blitzed, like, and then they open their mouth and show you their teeth. They have 50 teeth, which is more than any other land mammal in the United States. That's pretty cool, or North America, I think. 50 is a lot. So they'll show that big mouth they have. They have like a big, giant, wide mouth like that and show all their teeth to look really scary and frightening. And they might hiss a little bit. They're not a loud animal at all, but that will hopefully scare away their predators. But if it doesn't, a lot of times they will faint. And that might sound counterintuitive to faint in front of your enemies or predators, but it actually, most animals that want to be a predator and eat an animal, they want to eat something that looks healthy. They don't want to eat something dead, which is why opossums are so important, right? Opossums eat dead animals. A lot of animals avoid those dead, stinky, gross animals. It also is very dramatic. It's not just like a I'm sleeping and playing dead. Oh, it's more like really ugly, which is why a lot of people think that opossums are diseased and gross, is because they're pretending to be diseased and gross. So it's a myth. They're really not, usually. And they will usually deter their predators with all of that act. They'll faint, they'll drool, they'll show their tongue and look really weird, and roll their eyes in the back of their head. Very dramatic. And they'll also usually release their anal glands, which is nasty, and that has a really pungent smell. And they also usually use the restroom on themselves, number 1 or 2, depending on what's going on with them. But that will typically work, and then they can wake back up. And by the way, it's not something they want to do. It's kind of like an overkill of fear. It's kind of like a fainting behavior. It's not something that they do often unless they really need to, but it does often work because it is so convincing to that predator, because they literally don't move for a while. So if you ever find a dead opossum, make sure that it's actually dead before you do something about that body. It might just be playing dead. Give it some time, right? That's pretty cool. What else? What else? What else? I'm looking at your comments. Thank you for saying she's adorable. Reminds you of a sugar glider. Yes, we talked about that. Excellent. Over here. I have a lot of questions over here from our Florida friends. She's so cute. Too much. Can you walk them on a leash? No, they're not domestic, so we don't recommend putting them on leashes or harnesses. They don't seem comfortable with having this maneuver over their body, because that, I'm sure, reminds them of like a bird of prey, one of their main predators. So since they're nocturnal, their main predator by default tends to be owls, but they have so very many other predators too, like cats, dogs, which are not natural predators, right? Unless they're wolves or foxes, I guess, and bobcats, I guess, and things like that. Native animals, yes, that is a natural predator, but all those are options. Nowadays, some of their biggest threats are feral cats and outside dogs, which is kind of sad. And we'll talk about their number 1. See if you guys can guess an opossum's number 1 threat. It's not a predator, but it is something man-made. And I want to see if you guys can guess what their number 1 threat is, so that they have to watch out for, and usually don't watch out for well. Let's see. They also have so very many other bird predators and things, and snakes. All sorts of animals can eat them. So they don't really seem comfortable being picked up like this. When I pick them up, I tend to scoop them up gently. You can see how she kind of just crawls on me, almost like a bird, perching, right? And she does very well like that. And then as long as we give them some snacks to eat and give them some patience and love, they seem to be doing well. Let's see what else you guys have to say. She is the smallest one you've ever seen. I know she's extra adorable. I've seen newborn baby opossums before, but I certainly didn't raise them or anything like that. They're literally this big. So very cute. I've seen so very many baby animals in my career, which is so special, and I'm so blessed to have done that. But the smallest babies by far for mammals are marsupials. So I've met and seen baby tree kangaroos and things, and other kangaroos. They're so cool. They're all about the same size when they're born. Super small. How long do they live? That's a very good question. In the care of humans, I think the record is around 5, but that's extremely old for an opossum. Typically, the average in the care of humans, like in a zoo or animal ambassador like these guys, hopefully, right, will live this long, is typically up to 3. 3 is a big milestone for an opossum to reach. They don't live long at all. So 1 to 2 in the wild, 3 to 4 maybe in the care of humans. Yes, she does have a pouch. It's very hard to see and tiny, and I'm not going to mess with her too much to make her uncomfortable, but all females do have a pouch, whether they are pregnant or nursing or anything. They just have them ready to go in case they do have babies. Thank you for the telling me her name is great. Her name is Alice. Are you ready to meet the other one? So let's go ahead and bring out the second one. Oh, they're snuggling together, you guys. Maybe at the end we'll show you guys how they do together, and we'll see how they do. This one is much larger than Alice, and he is a boy. Little boy opossum. I've woken him up, so give him a second to, they cling to their blanket and stuff, so it takes me a minute to kind of pick them up. I definitely don't want to grab them and like hurt them. So this is Cooper, you guys. Cooper is a male Virginia opossum. Make sure he's in focus. Look at his adorable little face. Alice should look like this in just a little while, maybe another few weeks or a month, depending. But we think is around 4 months or so. It's okay, buddy. We're going to make him comfortable before we start talking again. Yes. Oh, buddy. You want to sit on my arm? That's so very cute. Oh, and he usually calms right down as soon as he realizes he's okay. Again, their natural instinct is to be a little bit nervous because they have a lot of predators at this age too, even this size. Look at his adorable little face and ears and eyes, and everything about him is adorable, I think. So this is Cooper, you guys. He's obviously older than Alice. Let's see if he would want a snack. Would you like a snack? Yum. He seems to be the best eater. But again, this is his first time doing a program in front of the cameras and things and all the lights. There he goes. See that great big mouth they have? Make sure you can see him there. There we go. How cute. So typically with opossum training, in my experience, at least with older opossums, I've worked with young ones, but not quite this young, all by myself, training them. He's doing great though. Typically, as soon as they find something they really like to eat, which is almost everything, right? Some opossums have a lot of preference on what they eat, but as soon as they realize they're okay and they can get a snack, they typically do calm down. The nice thing about opossums, and this is not an insult to them, is they're so primitive, so they're not the smartest. That actually kind of makes it a little easier sometimes to train animal, as long as you find something that's motivating to them. Even if they're kind of, let's just say simple. They're not problem solvers. And that's another thing about them, is they're not out to hurt anybody in the wild. They definitely are only there to do their job, which is a great service for us, right? Eating lots of leftovers from other animals like carrion and even like garbage that we live around. And that's where they tend to get in trouble. Another thing about opossums is they get blamed for a lot of messes that other animals actually create, like raccoons. Nothing wrong with raccoons either. They have their place in the ecosystem too, and they're fantastic. But raccoons have the strength and the brains to be able to like knock over trash cans and lift lids and things like that. Opossums are not really strong enough to like lift heavy lids of trash cans or knock them over. So what happens a lot of times is that a raccoon or a bigger animal like a dog or something will come by and knock over people's trash in their yard, and then the poor little opossum comes along after the fact, after everybody else has left, and is just there to clean it up and says, yay, free food, I get a free snack. And then they get blamed for the mess. And that's not really fair. They're also not as fast as some of those other animals, so they can't get away from the scene as quickly. Let's see what you guys, oh, here we go, trash and cars. And I can't look at the other comments. I want to be very still for him to make sure that he's comfortable, right? So I don't want to move my hands at all. So forgive me if other people are guessing correctly, but cars are actually the biggest threat to opossums nowadays. And of course, these guys have been around since, well, millions of years. I think it's like 60 million years or something. So they're extremely primitive, like I keep saying. It's not an insult. I think it's amazing that they're so unchanged for that long. Look at that face, you guys. Oh, I'm so in love. I'm just gonna cry. Oh, I love opossums so much. They're so cute. But yes, cars. So they are not very fast. Them and skunks and other animals too, of course, get hit by cars a lot, unfortunately. They've been around for a long time, but they're not well adapted to running fast and getting away from cars. Also cars, especially at night when they're awake, that's the most dangerous time for anybody to be out on the road, especially animals that become blinded by the car lights and things like that, and they already don't see very well. There we go. They already don't see very well as is. So those lights coming at them, they do not understand what that means. So a lot of times they will freeze in place in the middle of the road, which isn't a good tactic in the road, right, buddy? And so they will freeze in place, kind of, you know, wait for something to happen, and then unfortunately they can become hit by a car very, very easily that way. Also, of course, the playing dead factor can happen in the road too, and that's not good for cars as well. So we always need to be looking out for animals in the road. I always try to teach people that when I can. If you see animals on the road, please slow down if you can. I don't want you guys getting in car accidents, of course, but if you can avoid animal, please be careful of, especially country roads and things where there's lots of animals. Deer get hit by cars a lot for the same reason. They don't understand the lights shining on them. A lot of animals are out at night. What do you guys have to say as well? 50 teeth? Yes. Our cat had 14 removed and only 7 left. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's not very many teeth compared to an opossum. They have such a big mouth. There, it's full of teeth. But again, they're not really an aggressive animal. They're more of a scavenger. They can hunt a little bit though. Slower animals like slow-moving slugs and bugs they can easily eat, but they can also eat small lizards and small snakes. They're often immune to snake venoms, which is a fantastic fact about them. They're similar to a king snake that way. King snakes also eat venomous snakes, but opossums eat snakes all the time. They can also eat some plants that other animals can't eat too. They're very well adapted, and that is why they're fairly unchanged for so long in their well, from millions of years ago and things. They have almost completely stay the same because they're so adaptable. They can eat almost anything they want. Oh, there's a little piece of meat you didn't want. Spit it right out, buddy. That's something that most opossums do when they don't necessarily like a texture. They're like, this is delicious, but gross. I'm going to spit that part out. I've seen that happen a lot with apples and peels of the apple. He's backing right up, so I don't want him to fall, right? Let's see if he just wants to be held now. So cute. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. Yes. You're a superstar now. You're the luckiest opossum ever. But they are so adaptable to different situations. They live all over the US. So they can adapt to cold weather, warm weather, and all sorts of things. See his tail? Oh my gosh, he's so cute, like a chameleon tail, almost, with their prehensile tail. And they can eat almost anything they want, whether it be live or dead. They are a little bit of a predator too. They can eat little birds too. They eat eggs. There's almost nothing they can't eat. Now, you were saying trash. Of course, trash can be dangerous to a lot of animals. They can become trapped in the trash can, and that's not good. And they won't be able to get to water and things after that if nobody gets them out. Easiest way to rescue an opossum out of your trash can, just turn it right over on its side and it can crawl out on its own. That's the easiest way to rescue any animal out of your trash can. Would you like more snacks? I thought you were done, but I guess you're just not done. Like, no, I'm not done. Give me all the snacks. Oh, that's very good. I love seeing the, whoa, he's going to step right into his food. That's fine, I guess. These guys are really good at grooming themselves. So they typically will clean right up after a messy meal. Just super cute, by the way. Super cute when they do that and lick themselves clean. Oh my goodness. I just don't want him to fall. He's going to step right into his bowl. That is crazy. He did this last night as well. Is it a food bath? Is that what's happening? What are you doing? You don't know what you've done. You're just a baby. He doesn't know. Oh my gosh, guys. They are so very adaptable, like a lot of city animals can be, right? They're city, country, almost any temperature. Oh my goodness. But they're not going to necessarily breed in things unless resources are good. And that's usually when they have their babies, when they have a lot of resources and food and things to feed their babies. All right, what questions do you guys have, if anything? Well, Ricky, I guess, is asking, are opossums related to kangaroos? And the answer is yes, they are marsupials, just like kangaroos. They're in the same family. They have pouches. They might be from a different place. They're very, very similar. Most marsupials are very closely related and very primitive as well. Do you want to just hang out up here? That would be fine as well. You can just sit on my shoulder like a bird. Maybe he'll be comfortable there. I got a lot of opossum food on my hands. Let's just see what happens. You guys have some more good questions from Florida. Oh, I was saying not just trash cans being trapped in the trash cans, but also poisons and things. That's why we don't encourage you guys to use rat poisons and other bug sprays and things like that on your lawn, because guess who gets to eat all those things afterwards? As adaptable as opossums are, they're not immune to poisons, at least non-natural poisons and things. So they can become very sick. And a lot of times that does happen to a lot of native species, right? In your own backyard and things, and other species all over the world. So poisons, well, like I said, they are immune to snake venom, but they haven't adapted to being immune to our poison, right? Man-made poisons. What type of ticks do they have? The dog kind or deer ticks? I believe they can get any kind of ticks depending on, where they got them from. It's just going to be whatever ticks they come across. Let's get the second one, you guys. Yo. Hi. It just depends, but I believe they can get almost any ticks. I could be wrong. I'm not an entomologist. I'm not a tick expert, but they take care of them. They bite them right off of their own body and eat them up. That's a great source of protein for them, like a walking to-go meal, right? They fight with each other. I believe they can fight with each other. They're not really an aggressive type animal, but they're fairly solitary in the wild. We are going to keep these guys together for a little while. We might separate them when they become older. We will spay and neuter them. That is the plan. Don't want any more baby opossum. They are a female and a male, right? So they'll be kept together for as long as it's appropriate or as long as they seem to enjoy each other's company. But if we have any bickering, we will separate them. So we're just going to play that by ear. Some opossums can get along in human care just fine. Just depends. Oh my gosh, guys, she's so cute. But also, you see that hand movement. She's a little bit leery of that. So we just got to get her used to it. Got to get her used to things and make sure she knows it's not something scary. That's natural. Overhead predators, paws of animals or birds, that tends to frighten them. That just means she's got good instincts, right? So, like I said, what did I say? I forgot. You're so very cute. Do they fight? I'm sure that they wouldn't really enjoy each other's company in the wild. They're fairly solitary. So, but again, they're not really known to like be very violent or anything. Oh goodness, the triplets are asking us what anal glands are. So no problem. So anal glands are exactly what it sounds like. So the most extreme version of anal glands I can think of are a skunk. That's how a skunk sprays you. They have special sacs or glands full of stinky spray that they can actually release to defend themselves. That is the best, one of the best defense mechanisms in the animal kingdom is the skunk spray. Almost nothing messes with the skunk, right? You don't have to be worried about my snacks. She's like, what is that noise? I don't know what that is yet. See? The hedgehogs don't like that either. I'm sure they'll get used to it. But so your cats and dogs also have anal glands. So when you smell like that stinky, like fishy smell from your dog, sometimes if you guys have dogs at home, cats have them too. They don't release them as often as dogs, but it can be a form of marking for some animals. These guys have them too. So if for them, it's kind of like the skunk, but way less extreme. They use it as a defense mechanism to smell really gross, like they are a rotting corpse. That smells really bad. So that is what that is. Not every animal has them, to my knowledge, but many of them do, and many mammals do. They seem so agile, like squirrels. So they're pretty agile as a baby. They're definitely not as agile as squirrels. Squirrels are amazing little athletes. They're like little ninjas, right? Squirrels are crazy. They can climb anything, and well, at least the squirrels that I'm familiar with. There's many species of squirrels, and ground squirrels included. But when opossums become larger, they become heavier, and then they're not nimble at all. These guys are only going to be crawling around like this while they're still small enough to do so. And it depends on what age. Males are bigger than females, so females can usually climb for a little bit longer than males can with ease. And then it gets a little bit harder and harder for them to climb as the heavier they get. But they're fairly good at it as babies. But that is mostly for climbing on their mother, to be able to hang on until they're ready to be totally on their own. Because at this age, she would still be going in and out of the pouch with her mom. I'm gonna eat my ring. And she would be nursing a little bit still, which is why we're giving her that formula on her food, right? Males and females have the pouches? No, they do not. Only females have the pouches, males do not. So that makes it really easy to determine their gender. It's also easy to see the undercarriage too, just like any mammal. You can actually see their boy and girl parts pretty easily as well. But females only have the pouch, males do not. Females have their nursing area inside the pouch instead of on the outside, like a dog or a cat, right? They would have all the areas to nurse, if you know what I mean. These guys actually have 13 areas to nurse inside the pouch, and it's in a circle. There are 12 in a circle, and then 1 in the center. Would you like more food? You're acting like you want more food. Here you go. That's what she's looking for, but then she's like wanting to climb on the bowl, so I don't know what the answer is here. Whoa. Now you got it all over your hands. Don't fall. Here. There it is. There it is. There it is. Maybe the bowl's too big. We'll figure it out yet. This is new for me and them. And now my hands smell like food. Not good. You want to lick it off or are you going to bite? She has a surprisingly big mouth. She hasn't bitten me hard or anything, but she did try to nibble me yesterday. She thought I was a piece of food. Not to be mean. Look at him go. He's going to crawl right down. Do you love them? I love them. I think they're great. I think they're going to be fantastic animal ambassadors. And there we go. Get back up there. And yeah, so there's 13 areas to nurse inside the pouch of the females, right? And then I'm going to set her down, if you don't mind. So I can wash my hands off. There he is. So cute. You can see Cooper over here. Focus, camera. You're going to go in my pocket. Come here. I'm going to go down all the way. You had enough? You want more snacks? And again, please do not just pick up an opossum in the wild. This takes a lot of work for them to become tame. They're also not pets, and they're not legal pets, at least in Texas. I'm not sure about other states. They shouldn't be legal pets because they're not domesticated. There we go. So the thing is, they have a really strong sense of smell. So I'm sure they're smelling the food and trying to figure out where it's at. It's right there. You're just very clumsy. Well, that's okay. Do you want to just come down? An opossum in a bowl, anyone? I mean, what do you know? Oh, I'm going to let them eat their food over here, I think. I'll just set that down with Alice so she can snack. And we'll just talk about him for a little bit longer, but I think they're starting to become done. But I think they did really, really well for their first time. So if you're all out there, you can give them a nice round of applause. They won't be able to hear it, but that means it also won't scare them or startle them, right? You can give me some clapping emojis for these guys. And please let me know if you have any questions. I hope I've covered a lot of information for you guys and you've learned something. Look at this. I got you, sweetheart. You're so strong. He is very strong and very nimble. But they're just not fast like a squirrel, you know? Not fast. Well, I think he did a great job. I'm going to let him rest and go get snacks over here in his little travel enclosure. Like we always provide our animals on shows, right? And I'll just let them snack next to me. And if they feel like it again, maybe we'll pull them out for one last shot. But thank you so much for your patience with them. It is time to wash my hands. It is really, really overwhelming sometimes for animals to learn new things. I do think their personalities suit this very well. So we're just going to continue to handle them every day and make sure they're getting used to new things every single day. But I forgot what I was saying. They have 13 areas to nurse. Mom opossums can actually have up to 20 babies, but usually only 13 or less make it. I think I mentioned that before because they can only feed 13 at once. I should name them Lucky. In the animal field, we don't name animals Lucky because that's kind of bad luck, at least in my experience with like the vet field and things. But yes, I think they are very lucky. So we have Alice and Cooper, our opossums, and I hope you liked meeting them just now. You love that we have them. We're very happy to be able to provide homes to local species like that. Yes. Again, we don't recommend anybody at all unless you are a rehabber with lots of experience or you are some kind of zoo professional or animal expert, something of the sort. Please don't pick up opossums. Please don't take them in as pets. It's very illegal and it's very, very frowned upon as well because they don't tend to do well just in any home. Also, if you take them in too young and they imprint on you, then they can't go back into the wild. And then what happens? So you have this illegal animal that you have to hide and it's just a bad situation. So obviously we have the capability and licensing to be able to have these animals. And I have a lot of experience with opossums. So that's the difference between once in a while. But if you want to meet an opossum virtually or in person, we'd be happy to help you out with an encounter with an opossum or two, especially as they get a little older and much more comfortable. As opossums grow, they tend to calm down a lot. As babies, they have far more predators. Almost anything can eat them at that size. But then opossums can get, around this big or even this big for like some of the males and things. So they begin to be a little more confident and more laid back. And the more they learn day by day, week by week, month by month, that we're the provider of their food and we're, a positive experience, and they tend to calm down a lot. They're great animals. They're one of my favorite animals to talk about, if you can't tell. Great job, Cooper, and a little clapping. Yay! I think you did a great job, and Alice too. All right. I'm just looking through your comments just to make sure. You guys have so many animals. On your way to work, Viviana, even Owdad. That's a cool animal to see on your way to work. She says we have elk, deer, opossum, skunks, rabbits, and now Owdad. That's neat. They must be somebody's personal collection because Owdad are not native to here. That's a type of big sheep that lives in the mountains. I believe in Africa, in North Africa, I think is where they're from. I'm not sure if opossums create snake venom. That is definitely a new factoid for me. I do know that they are immune to snake venom. They're not immune to rabies, but they don't have as many receptors for viruses. Lucky them, right? I wish I was like that in this day and age. They don't have as many receptors to viruses, so they can't really contract that many viruses in general, to my knowledge. And they have a cooler body temperature, which rabies viruses don't really care for living in. And it's like a 2% chance that they can carry it. So pretty much none, right? They're not immune to it, but they can get it. But they're super duper rare to get it. But they are immune to many snakes' venoms. I think all of them. I could be wrong. That's something for me to learn too. You guys, I'm always learning all the time, which is one of my favorite things about this job, is getting questions that I don't necessarily think to answer. And I go, wait a minute, I'm not 100% sure. And then I can go learn and teach everybody else about that. So that's you giving me some fun facts to teach everybody else next time. What else do you guys have to say? To create the venom antidote, I'm not sure. I know that there are other animals that help with all of that. Creating anti-venom is extremely painstaking and a very long process and very, very specialized. Anti-venom is not just like get the venom and then instantly create anti-venom. It takes like all sorts of steps. And that's for another live stream sometime. Maybe we can talk about anti-venom sometime. I don't have any experience with milking snakes or anything. I've worked with some venomous or hot snakes, but I've seen venom labs before. There's not that many of them because it's a very dangerous job, very important. But there's a long process. I don't know about opossums. That would be a new fact for me to look up. So I would love to learn that. Thank you, Ashley, for giving me that prompt. Well, you guys, it's been fantastic. You guys say that you see them in Miami and had no idea about them. A lot of people are very either misinformed or misunderstanding about your local backyard species, right? Opossums are so very primitive. They're one of the oldest living mammals in the United States and animals that have been unchanged for a long, long time. And they're a marsupial, like a kangaroo. How cool is that? Super. Thank you. They did amazing. I agree. Yes, so Allison Cooper did a fantastic job. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. I think that's a great stopping point. I hope you learned something. I hope you, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I hope you would like to subscribe. That would help us out a lot. That's a free way to help us out. But if you would like to support Alice and Cooper and all of our other animals here at Once in a Wild, we do have a mobile zoo, which brings the zoo to you, your classroom, your party, your event, and all sorts of education opportunities and animal therapy too, and virtually as well to the entire world. If you have internet, you guys can book your own animal encounter. That helps us out quite a bit. Please book soon if you have a date in mind, because we are filling up, especially our weekends, very quickly, and our weeks with classroom programs. So please let me know as soon as you know your date that you have in mind, or if you're interested in any animal at all that we have. Check out onceinawild.com for more information. And if you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as follow us on Facebook if you have Facebook, and our other social media, including Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also, what else? What else? You can donate to our animals and help feed Cooper and Alice and Cooper, and keep them healthy and happy and pay vet bills and all of that for us. Please do that. No, I'm just kidding. It helps us out, of course. All of that is a lot to go into this kind of thing. So every little bit helps. So if you'd like to donate to our little zoo, we do have a Venmo, Cash App, and we have a PayPal as well. All those handles are the same. Once in a Wild, and down below are all the links to those for your convenience. We also have an Amazon wish list, which the link is down below, but it's also found on our onceinawild.com website, and you can click on that button to donate to Amazon. Well, thank you guys so very much. It's been fantastic. And I guess here we are. I guess we will see you guys next time. We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold my hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while. Together. Once in a while. I wanna hear you say once in a while. And that's the fun for me and you. Well, sorry, buddy. Say goodbye to your adoring fans. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.